Hey yarny peeps, today we are going to be making this adorable frog print, and everything you need is on screen: yarn hook, safety eyes, black embroidery thread and stuffing. We are starting with a magic ring and we are making the 2 eyes first. Yes, you are going to need to make 2 of these eyes. So starting with that magic ring, you are going to do 6 double crochet UK terms or 6 single crochet US terms into the ring. That's 6 double crochet UK terms or 6 single crochet US terms into the ring. So, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you work up this first round, pause the video and then meet me back here when you're done and we will complete round 2 of these eyes. So round 1 completed, and round 2 is going to be an increase in every stitch around, and at the end of this round you will have 12 stitches. So increase into every stitch around, and at the end of this round you will have 12 stitches. I will let you pause the video and meet me back here when you have completed this round. Alrighty, so we have completed round 2, and I should have said before, but you need to put a stitch marker in if that's how you work. I'm going to pop mine in now and it will allow me to keep track of my round. So you're just going to want to put a stitch marker into the last stitch that you have made, and this will allow you to keep track of your rounds. Now the next 2 rounds are super simple. All we're going to do is double crochet into every stitch around UK terms or single crochet into every stitch around US terms, and you're going to do that for 2 rounds. So at the end of each round you'll have 12 stitches and you're going to crochet around for 2 rounds. You're going to want to fasten off your first eye after the 2 rounds, but not fasten off the second eye. So fasten off your first but not your second eye, and when you've got your second eye made, come back here and I'll show you the next steps. So now you should have 2 eyes. This is my second one and I've kept it on the hook. I haven't fastened this one off. And this is the first one which I've fastened off and is ready to be joined to the second one. Don't need your stitch marker just quite yet. We'll get there in a minute. We're going to join these 2 eyes, and the way that we're going to do that is we are going to chain 3 to begin with. So chain 3, oh, bit of fluff there. So chain 1 and 2 and 3. And then you're going to bring in your first eye and you're going to double crochet UK terms or single crochet US terms all the way around that eye in the 12 stitches of that first eye. So double crochet UK terms or single crochet US terms all the way around in the 12 stitches of that first eye. Pause the video here, get round that first eye and then meet me back here and we'll go through the next steps. So just working up this last couple of stitches in the first eye, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put 1 double crochet UK terms or 1 single crochet US terms into each of these chains. So what you want to do is just use one of the chain loops because we're going to use the other one for the other side, and you're just going to put 1 stitch into each of the chains, so in the end you'll have 3 stitches. This can be a little bit fiddly, especially in chenille yarn, but persevere with it. As you can see, I'm finding it difficult myself, just to say that the pain and struggle is real and it happens to the best of us, it's not just you. So 1 stitch into each of these chains. So this is the first one here, making sure that the eyes are facing the same way all of the time, otherwise you're going to have a bit of a wonky head. And then going into the second one right here, and then finally into this third one. That's it. It might be a little bit fiddly on the last stitch, but it is there. Just trust me, it's definitely there. That's the third one. And now what you're going to do is you're going to do 12 double crochet UK terms or 12 single crochet US terms around the second eye. So I'm going to let you get your 12 stitches around the second eye, pause the video and meet me back here when you're done. So we've got our stitches on the second eye, and now all we're going to do is go and do 3 more stitches on the other side of that chain. So this side should be a little bit easier because you got them worked up from the previous side. So just pop 3 stitches in the other side of that chain, and then when you've popped your 3 stitches in, we are going to put a stitch marker into the last stitch we make, because that will be the end of the round and we'll be starting the next round. So that's 2. Don't worry about the little hole that you might see, you can sew that in at the end, it's just where we've joined the eyes together. And 3. And then, like I say, what you want to do now is pop your stitch marker into that last stitch that we made. And you can see the shape here is coming along nicely, and this is what you should have. And at the end of this round, you should have 30 stitches. So now we're just going to double crochet around for 2 rounds. So double crochet around UK terms or single crochet around US terms for 2 rounds. And this is just going to give us a little bit of height before we decrease for the body again. So pop your 2 rounds of stitches in, pause the video and meet me back here when you're ready to go through the next steps. So this is what we're looking like so far. You can see those eyes really starting to take shape on the body. And the next round is going to be a decrease round. So what we're going to do for the next round is we are going to do 3 double crochet UK terms or 3 single crochet US terms, and then we are going to pop a decrease in. So 3 stitches and then a decrease. So this is the second one. And then I'm just going to show you how there are 2 ways to do a decrease, and actually in chenille yarn I don't think it matters which one you do, because I think either way, so this is the first way, either way it doesn't matter because you can't tell with chenille yarn. So I'm going to do 3 more stitches and then I'm going to show you the invisible decrease, which is what I would normally do, and then show you the difference between those 2. And I really don't think it matters. So if you can't get to grips with the invisible decrease, which is going to be this one here, don't worry, do the first decrease method that you saw in this video, because if you look now, this is my invisible decrease here, and then that is my not invisible decrease, and they're exactly the same, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. So keep going around, 3 stitches and then a decrease. Pause the video and then meet me back here when you're ready to go through the next round. Oh, and at the end of this round, you'll have 24 stitches. So we are done with the last round, and now all we're going to do is double crochet around UK terms or single crochet around US terms, and you're going to do that for 6 rounds. So just 1 stitch in every stitch all the way around for 6 rounds. You'll have 24 stitches at the end of every round. Pause the video and then meet me back here when you've done your 6 rounds of stitches. Alrighty, so this is what we have now, and we have quite a considerable amount more on our body. And now we're going to stick some eyes in our frog. Now, I haven't got a sort of like row and stitch placement, because these ones you can sort of put in wherever you want. I have popped mine right in the middle of the curve of the eye, and you can do as you wish with them, because sometimes you want to give your amigurumi little expressions and whatnot. So that's where I've popped mine. Before you put the backs on, make sure you're happy with the placement. And then what I always do is put the back on the first one, turn it right side out like so, check the placement of the second one, and then when I'm happy, I'll put the back on the second one as well. So pop your eyes in, and then we'll come back and finish off the base of our froggo. So we are going to do the base now, and for this base we are going to be working in the back loop only. So you can see here in this chenille yarn we've got the front loop here, and then we have the back loop here, and that's the loop that we're going to be working into. And you're just going to do 1 stitch into the back loop of every stitch around. So 1 double crochet into the back loop around UK terms, or 1 single crochet into the back loop around US terms. Pause this video, you know the drill by now, and complete your round, and then meet me back here when you are done. Alrighty, so this is our frog now. We've got our eyes in and we've just done our first round of the base, and hopefully you should be able to see a little line on your froggo, which is where that base is going to fold over and make it so that we can lie our froggo flat, or that he'll stand up on his own. And what we're going to do now is we are going to add a little bit of stuffing. Now what you want to do is you want to pop stuffing into the eyes and then work your way down the body, making sure not to stuff too much because we're still going to want to fold that end over and make sure that he can stand up on his own. So pop your stuffing in, get him nice and stuffed as much as you want, and then come back here and we'll go through the next steps. Okay, for our next steps, we're going to work in both loops this time, and we're going to do 2 double crochet UK turns or 2 single crochet US turns and then decrease. And you're going to work that pattern all the way around, and you will have 18 stitches at the end of the round. So that's 2 double crochet UK turns or 2 single crochet US turns and then a decrease, which will give you 18 stitches when worked all the way around. I'm going to let you pause the video and I will meet you back here when you have gotten all the way around. So this is what your froggo should look like now. You can see here the base is starting to come together and close, and we have 2 rounds left. The first round is a double crochet decrease UK terms or single crochet decrease US terms. So 1 stitch and then a decrease. And you're going to work that all the way around, and that is going to give you 12 stitches at the end of the round. So 1 stitch and then decrease all the way around for 12 stitches at the end of the round. Pause the video and meet me back here for that final round. Alrighty, final round is decrease around. So here you can see I'm going to decrease through every stitch around. So this is my first one, and then I'm going to decrease over the next 2 stitches and so on and so forth until you get to the end of the round. At the end of this round you will have 6 stitches and you can fasten off, and we will sew the hole closed and finish the base. So you can see here, if you need to just push your stuffing down, do so. We're going to fasten off and then we're going to sew our base closed. And you can see here that if you push and adjust your stuffing, he will sit flat, this little dude will. So he will stand on his own effectively without a stand required, which is a really nice feature. So sew your hole closed by simply weaving the yarn tail end in and out of those stitches at the bottom. Be aware with chenille yarn, it can snap easily, so do not pull the yarn too tightly. Hide in your end, and then we are going to make this little dude a crown. And this is our frog complete. We are now going to make him a crown, pop him his eye whites in and his mouth. So we're going to make this crown with a lighter weight yellow yarn. I've used a DK weight yarn for this, and the yarn that I've used is this cotton polyester blend and a 3mm hook. And we're going to start our crown off by making a slip knot with our yellow yarn like so. And then once you've made your slip knot, you're going to chain 12. So slip knot onto the hook, and then we are going to chain 12. So I'm going to quickly speed through this chain 12, and then we'll go on to the next step. Alrighty, so we have our chain 12, and what we're going to do now is we are going to put a half treble UK terms or half double crochet US terms into the 3rd chain from the hook. So yarn over, count down to the 3rd chain and pop your hook through that chain. Yarn over again and pull through. And yarn over again and pull through all 3 loops. Excuse the croakiness. And then you're just going to complete that all the way across. So it's a half treble crochet UK terms or half double crochet US terms all the way across to the end now. And at the end of this row, you will have 10 half trebles. Alrighty, so that is our first row complete. And what we are going to do now is we are going to chain 2. So chain 1 and chain 2. And then you are going to turn your work so that you are working the correct way. And then we're just going to put 1 half treble UK terms or 1 half double crochet US terms into each stitch along. So again, you will end up with 10 stitches at the end of this row. I'm going to let you do this row and then come back here once you have completed the second row, and we will make our spikes for our crown. Alrighty, so we have our second row, and what we're going to do now is we're going to chain 1 and then we're going to turn our work. So chain 1, turn, and then you're going to do another chain 4. So we're starting our spikes, each one will be the same. So chain 4, and then we're going to do what's called a picot stitch. So once you've got that 4th chain, what you're going to do is find the 2nd chain from your hook, and you are going to slip stitch into the 2nd chain from your hook. So just 1 slip stitch into that chain. This can be a little bit fiddly, so persevere with it. It's just because you're making a slip stitch so close to the chains. And once you've got it there, you are then going to chain 2. So 1 and 2. And then what we're going to do is we're going to skip a stitch on the row and slip stitch into the next stitch. And that is the pattern that you are going to create all the way across your row. And you will see that we will start to get some cute little spikes that will form the tops of our crown. So instructions are on screen. Chain 4, slip stitch in the 2nd chain from your hook, chain 2, miss a stitch on the row, and then slip stitch. I am going to let you pause the video, work across the row. Once you've worked across the row, do not fasten off. We will come back for the next steps. Alrighty, so we have our cute little spikes on our crown, and you should have 5 of them. Don't worry so much about them being in place right now. We will work that out afterwards. Now you are going to want to do a chain 1. And then we are going to place the 2 sides of our crown together, and we're just going to do 3 double crochets down those 2 sides of our crown, or 3 single crochets US terms, just to ensure that we have secured the 2 sides of the crown together. Don't worry too much about this looking fancy dancy. If you do, see how much I'm struggling here. If you do want it to look super fancy, you can flip the crown inside out afterwards, and then it will hide the seam. Once you've done this, you're going to want to fasten off, leaving a long enough tail so that we can sew the crown onto our head. Alrighty, so we have our crown, and we're now going to sew it onto the frog's head. We're going to go right in the middle of those eyes. Obviously, you don't have to pop it here. This is just where I think it looks best. You can stick it on top of one of his eyes, or a little more to one side or the other. And all you're going to do is place the crown first. You can use some pins to pin it in, and then just use a stitch to anchor that crown onto the head. Once you've anchored that crown on with 1 stitch, go all the way around, securing that crown to the head. I am going to let you pause the video to secure your crown, and then come back when you're ready to add the whites to the eyes and pop him a little smile on. Alrighty, so we have our crown secured to our head, and at this point you can adjust your little spikes so that they sit however you want them. You can have them pointing up or out. It's completely up to you, whatever vibe you want to go with your froggo. Make sure that you weave in your tail ends for your crown and hide them inside your froggo. Next, we are going to add some whites. Now, making sure that you use the same yarn weight that you've made your froggo with, otherwise the whites will be hidden underneath the safety eyes. You are just going to go into the froggo from one side, preferably the side that you want to be white first, and come out up underneath the first eye. Bear in mind these are going to be side whites, so if you want top or bottom whites, then it's just a matter of figuring out where you need to place your yarn to make this happen. So once we've come up underneath our eye, to get side whites, so mine are going to be on the right side of that eye and then on the left side of the other one, you are just going to simply place the yarn over the top of the eye to sort of see where half would be, and then pop your needle back into that same place. And then come out the same place that you went into the body. Pull on this yarn slowly, and this will sort of bring it into the middle, and then guide the yarn to wherever you want your whites to be. So I want my whites to be sort of this way, so I'm going to guide it this way and pull. Don't pull too tight because it can get hidden. If you do pull it too tight and it becomes hidden underneath, you can just pick it out like I have done here with the end of your yarn needle to make those whites a little bit more prominent. Super easy to do if you haven't tied off yet. And then fasten off and hide your yarn ends in, and do exactly the same for the other side. And we have our 2 eye whites in, and finally we are going to pop a little mouth onto our froggo. And you are going to need some black yarn for this mouth. I have to say, every time I'm working with chenille yarn, I always use black DK yarn to do facial features. I just find that it shows up a little bit better and a little bit more prominently. If you would like a bit of a tutorial on amigurumi mouths, I will link a video below which will help you out do various types of mouths for various types of personalities. So a simple mouth for this one, we're going to go into our froggo from the side again and push up just under that right eye. And all we're going to do is like a little side smile. It's going to be a backwards L shape. So in and push up, trying to come between the stitches if you can, and making sure you leave a little tail for tying a knot after. And then just make the shape of your mouth, embroidering that black yarn through the stitches. So I've gone down and come out opposite, and then I'm going to go back in there, and I am also going to go over it twice so it's more prominent. And when you've completed your mouth, make sure to come out in the exact same place that you went in, tie a knot in those 2 ends and hide them inside your froggo, and your froggo will be complete. And here he or she is, I mean, I know it's a frog prince, but it could be a frog princess as well, in all of their glory. This is one I made earlier as well, in a different type of yarn, although chenille, it worked up a little bit differently. I hope you enjoyed this pattern. Thank you so much for watching. Just a quick note, there will be a PDF copy of this frog pattern only. The crown is a mod for this video specifically. The PDF frog pattern will be on Etsy at a reduced rate. If you would like to grab the PDF, I will leave a link below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.